Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be going over how to solve every hub clue in the Hunt Mega Edition. Now, if you don't know what a hub clue is, basically upon completing one mega token in the event, you could go back into the hub and find a clue hidden somewhere in it. This clue would tell you exactly which game that you had to search in order to find the next mega token. The very first game was the only one in which the clue was not actually in the hub, but rather posted exclusively on Roblox's Twitter. In the tweet that they put out, a simple text message can be seen with some words that don't really make much sense. However, if you were to take all of the words in this sentence and rearrange them into a brand new sentence, you would actually arrive at your first clue. And that's because this brand new sentence is who lives in a pineapple under the sea. And obviously, this relates to SpongeBob Tower Defense, as SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea. Moving on now to the first actual hint, we have a poster that says beware of the red herring. Now, I believe this poster to be the red herring itself, as the actual hint is hidden in a teaser trailer posted by the developer of Untitled Tag game. In this video, which talks about the normal hunt quest, there are some weird portals seen throughout the map. And it's these portals that actually led players to discovering the second mega token. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this theory, and the red herring sign could have another meaning, so feel free to tell me in the comments down below if you guys find anything for yourselves. For the next game, we were actually given two hints by Roblox. The first hint can be found in the video posted to Roblox's Twitter announcing the orb zone. At the end of this video, the text on screen reads, "The pressure is on." And here the clue is pretty straightforward, as it's obviously referring to the game Pressure. However, there is a more involved clue that Roblox released even earlier. And this can be found in the bottom of the orb zone next to the stairs in the form of a radio that seemed to spew some random gibberish. However, after analyzing the audio of the radio, you can find that it's actually some sort of Morse code. And plugging this Morse code into a translator, you get the result let van. And from there, a quick Google search can tell you that the let van zone is actually an area in Pressure, thus confirming that Pressure is the third game. The next game also had two hints, the first of which coming from Roblox's tweet about the release of the block zone. The caption of this tweet reads, "You're in deep water now," and midway through the actual video, "Tread carefully" can be seen. Now alone, these two hints don't really have much in common, however it is somewhat possible to deduce from these two hints that the next game is Chained, as Chained is an obby in the middle of the ocean. However, like Pressure, there is a much better clue for this game, and that can be found in the form of some random emojis on a wall. These emojis, comprised of 3 horses, 2 fishing rods, 3 hands, and 8 feet, actually spell out a certain value. And that's because each of these emojis actually represents a certain numerical value, with a horse being 96 inches or 8 feet, a hand being 4 inches, a foot obviously being 12 inches, and a rod being 198 inches. Anyways, when you add up all of these numerical values, you get 792 inches, which just so happens to be the length of a unit of measurement called a chain, thus confirming Chained as the next game. Next up, we got a chessboard in the hub, and this hint is actually insanely easy to figure out, but no one was able to do it for over a day. And this eventually led Roblox to actually posting another hint on their Twitter, saying that, quote, "It was a great game between 2 blank." Now this blank was actually comprised of 6 individual underscores, which is just enough letters to spell out Rivals, which thus confirmed the next game to be Rivals. The next clue was simply a poster of someone dancing in Roblox that says, "You'll never solve this one." Now, of course, people did solve this one, as this picture is obviously from the game Clip It. For the next clue, a random poem appeared on one of the walls of the hub. And in order to figure out this one, all you had to do was identify some key words in the poem that pointed toward World 0 being the next game. The biggest clue that this poem actually was designed for World 0 is the 4th line, which says, "Slay the dragon with icy spines." And obviously in World 0, in order to get the main token, you have to slay a dragon with icy spines. Moving on to the tile zone, the first clue was simply a poster saying 0 labs. And this is also a very easy clue, as Zero Labs is a fictional location inside of Field Trip Z, which is a game in the same universe as a Dusty Trip, thus confirming a Dusty Trip as the next game. For the next clue, a random set of gibberish appeared on the ceiling in the tile zone. And this gibberish is actually a pretty simple Caesar cipher, where each letter can be shifted up or down the alphabet to reveal a brand new sentence. And by correctly shifting this clue over, you get the sentence that reads the following: "With endless love, we left you sleeping. Now we're sleeping with you. Don't wake up." And this is actually a quote from the popular movie 28 Days Later, in which a zombie outbreak takes place. And this confirms that the next game is Infection Gunfight. For the next game, we were given a decal that contains 3 individual pictures, one of a sky, one of a bird, and one of a hat with a magician. And each image in this decal actually relates to Larry Bird, who is a professional basketball player. The bird in the center obviously refers to Larry's last name, which is Bird. The clouds on the left somewhat cryptically represent how he can soar through the sky when he's playing, and the hat on the right refers to a hat trick, which in sporting terms is when you do something impressive such as scoring a goal 3 times in a single game. And after figuring out that this decal relates to Larry Bird, the next game reveals itself as Basketball Legends, pretty obviously. Next up, we were given a crossword puzzle, and for this one, all you had to do is find the 18 words. And after finding a few of these words, it's pretty obvious that all of the elements in this crossword puzzle actually appear in the game Metro Life. For the last clue in the tile zone, we were given a board of tic-tac-toe with 3 O's. Also, around the map, a series of codes could be found by stepping on certain tiles. And by putting all 3 of the hidden codes next to each other and overlaying the tic-tac-toe grid over them, you could actually slowly piece together a certain code. And this code was actually a longitude and latitude, which when plugged into Google Maps, places you right in Manhattan in New York City in a neighborhood called Hell's Kitchen. And obviously, this confirms Hell's Kitchen as the next game. The next code can be found atop one of the floating cubes in the hub. This code is comprised of numbers and letters and somehow translates into meet behind the warehouse. Now, I am not entirely sure if this description is accurate, although it does point towards the warehouse map in Arsenal, thus confirming Arsenal as the game. If you have any additional information about how this key was solved, or if there's another way to do it, please leave it in the comments down below. For the next clue, a distorted face could be found in the hub. And this face was actually an item that was available in the 2012 April Fool's incident, in which only one person actually obtained it. And that person was Stickmaster Luke, the owner of Natural Disaster Survival, thus confirming it as the next game. The next clue was a series of letters, numbers, and symbols which read out FF space 48, line MAR, line 12 cents, and this clue actually relates to a comic book titled Fantastic Four Volume 48. And this comic was released in March and was sold for only 12 cents. Now, in this comic book, the main villain is Galactus, who is also known as the World Eater. And obviously, this points to the next game being Eat the World. Next up, we have an image of a trolley that over time slowly degrades in quality. And this one points towards Car Crushers 2, as the trolley, which is a vehicle, slowly degrades itself over time. The next hint is 3 dates on a rock in the hub, which read 1998, 2002, and 2004. Now, these are actually the dates of releases in the Blade franchise, with the first date being the release of the original Blade movie, the second being Blade 2, and the third being Blade Trinity. And obviously, the theme of Blade relates to the game Blade League, which was confirmed to be the next game. The next clue is an image of a Roblox character talking to another character with the text "I'm so excited" playing over the top. And just by looking at the art style of this image, it's pretty clear that the next game is Bayside High School. Moving on to the final stage, the Shape Zone, the first clue is a radio which is playing a certain type of music. And this music is elevator music, pointing at the next game being Regretivator. The next clue is located in the hub on a wall and is another string of emojis. Now again, I'm not exactly sure how this one was decrypted, but it does relate to Tower Defense Simulator, likely due to some of the emojis representing different troops in the game, such as the hearts representing the medic. If you have any information about how to solve this clue accurately, please leave it in the comments down below. The next clue is a set of seemingly unrelated letters and numbers. However, once you flip this code upside down, you will see that the final 4 digits reveal PS99, which obviously relates to Pet Simulator 99. For the next hint, we are given 2 tables with some random numbers on them. And these tables are actually nonograms, and in order to solve them, I simply plugged them into an online solver and generated these 2 images. The first image is a car, and the right is a picture of the world, and thus the game Drive World is confirmed. The next clue is a series of strange characters overlaid onto what appears to be a rusty sheet. The leading theory is that this clue is some sort of ambigram that uses words that are both mirrored and flipped in order to spell 2 different words, those words being split and decision. These 2 words together form split decision, which is a popular term in boxing, thus hinting towards Untitled boxing game. If you have any more information on this clue, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. The next hint is a floating corrupted TV item which is underneath the walkway in the hub. And this hint likely points towards It Girl, as in It Girl you can dress up your avatar with certain accessories such as the corrupt TV. And finally, we arrive at the last clue, which isn't really a clue at all since by this point there is only one game left. That game of course being Fish, and the clue being FIS_H, seen right in the middle of the hub. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. This one took a lot of time to edit and research as there was just a lot of stuff to go over. So if you would like to leave a comment or a like on the video, it would be very much appreciated, but again, that's your choice. Now before I leave, I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped me in my journey to complete this event and figure out what all of these clues mean. I will list all of you guys down in the description. Anyways, this is going to be it for me, so goodbye.